I'm off to the University of Missouri for one of my craziest challenges yet, climbing the poker ladder from a $100 buy-in all the way up to a massive $2,000 buy-in, forcing myself to profit at every single stop. The deeper we get into the weekend, the higher the financial risk and bigger the pots. But before we can play for serious money at the top, we have to survive the bottom. Level 1 starts right now at Delta Upsilon, buying in for just $100. These guys here love to have a good time, and before I can put a single chip into the pot, the guys are already playing and out for blood.
One time!
Board, try as a board.
So you can definitely see the energy we're working with here today, and I'm gonna join in on the action right away with everyone's favorite hand, Ace King. I put the straddle out there, Charlie raises it up to $8 and the big blind calls, so of course I'm gonna shove my entire stack in the middle.
Do you know what sound a locomotive makes?
Charlie puts the rest of his stack in the middle, so we're off to a run out in a $209 pot, but unfortunately I don't spike an ace or a king, which means his pocket queens are gonna win this flip. And I'm reaching for another $100 bill, trying to spin it up. This next hand starts on the flop. I have 9-8 offsuit on a 10-9-7 board with 2 diamonds. I fire out for $12, and only Max takes the bait, puts in the call, and the turn comes the 3. We decide to slow it down here, and the action goes check, check, bringing in the jack of diamonds on the river, giving me a straight, but bringing in the front door flush draw. Time to play for all of it. I jam for $53, and Max counts out his stack and then puts in the call. I turn over the straight, and what does Max have? Jack 10 of clubs for 2 pair, and he wants to get banged.
You might need a bang sticker for that one. You just got banged.
After losing some flips with the guys to end this session, Delta Epsilon is officially in the rearview mirror, and we're already in the hole for $179. To get back in the green and keep climbing this ladder, the pressure has to tick up. Next stop, Signup. Don't let this 1-1 blind game fool you. The buy-in here doubles to a $200 max. We're doubling our risk just to break even. The goal? We need to be well in the profit by the time we reach the final boss, 510. Level 2 starts right now. I'm under the gun to start it off here with 8-9 of diamonds and open it up to $15. We get 1 call, and then Owen, who I've been DMing with on Instagram about this game. Go figure, he 3-bets me to $40 straight out of the gate, and of course, I'm gonna give him action here with the 8-9 suited. I put in the call, we lose our 3-way, off to a flop, we go heads up, which gives me just the straight, the nuts. 7-6-5, bang, we flop the 9-high straight. I check it over to Owen, and he somehow checks behind, which is not what we wanted to see, but the turn is a brick. It's the queen of spades, and now he fires out for $65. There's 2 clubs out there, and I only have $144 in my stack, which means I'm all in. I stuff it in there, and yeah, Owen is less than thrilled.
I'm a little nervous right now because I'm all in. Thank you.
I mean, oh, in the pot odds are saying 4.
He eventually does toss in the call, and we decide to run it 2 times. The first board comes the ace of hearts, and the second board is a 7 of spades, but it might as well have been brick because Owen had 10-9 of spades. Brother, what were we doing calling it off there with 10 high? That's an NFL level punt. Another fraternity, another bank sticker given out, and now it's time to focus our attention on Aiden. If you guys are Aiden's financial advisor, friends, family, or significant other, you might want to skip maybe 3 hands into the future, because let's just say this dude can't catch a break. I raise it up to $20, and there's 1 call over to Aiden, who 3-bets us to $95. With the parking lot hand, it's time to jam all in for $279, and before I can even get my chips in the middle, Aiden snaps us off with pocket 8s. We're going off to a run out, which comes 10-10-3. The turn comes the deuce of clubs. I have the queen of clubs in my hand, and let's bring up the table audio for this river.
Oh my God! Who's dealing this?
Green looks good on it.
This is great. Green would look great.
So yeah, Aiden earns himself a nice little $565 bank sticker, and then we get into it right again here when he fires out for $20 on a Queen 10-7 board with 2 clubs, and we get a caller to our right. I have Jack 6 of clubs here, so I have some backdoor straight ideas, but obviously that front door flush draw, and I put in the call, and the turn gives me the open-ended straight draw on the King of Hearts. There's only $90 in the middle, but this pot is going to grow pretty fast here when Aiden fires out for Cinco de Mayo. Gotta love him for that, and of course, we are going to put in the call once again, and the river is what you would call a bink. It's the 4 of clubs. I'm sitting here with the flush out of position, and I decided to bet out for $200. Just put him in a gross spot with a hand like ace queen. King queen probably has to call off here, a set of 10s. But he puts in the call, and he has a hand much stronger than that. It's pocket kings. So we just beat him in a flip situation, ace queen versus 8s, and now Jack 6 of clubs, a very mediocre hand, somehow, someway is taking down Aiden's top set. $600, another bank sticker. I'm having to dig deep into the bag. I didn't think I'd be giving out this many this early in the trip. An ace king offsuit, this could be a candidate for yet another bank sticker. I raise it up to $40 off of a $760 stack from the hijack. Who else but Aiden puts in the call? We're gonna go heads up to a flop, but he pulls up his shirt over his neck, trying to cover his pulse. Brother, whatever you're doing over there is not working. I'm not getting any reads on you. I'm just making hands and taking you to Value Town. And most likely this flop is not going to be great for you either when I have top on a King 9-5 with 2 hearts board. I fire out for $80 and he doesn't fold. He's not learning anything from the last 2 hands. I'm just making hands here, brother. I'm not bluffing. The turn comes as 6 of spades, $242 in the middle, and I fire out for $140. He's sticky once again, puts in the call, and the river comes the Jack of spades. A little bit of cause for concern because Queen 10 of hearts now makes a straight. He also could have a hand like King Jack, or maybe even 9 Jack that got sticky on the turn. But then again, there are some missed flush draws, so I'm going to play this a little passively here and check it over to Aiden and see if he takes the bait. He thinks about it for a while and then begrudgingly checks behind. He looks frustrated that he didn't go for the bluff, but when I turn over the ace king, he knows that I was snapping him off, and $522 is the price of this third sticker. And just like that, he completes the trifecta, the 3-peat. Thanks to Owen and mostly Aiden, we're up $800 in this 1-1 game, and there's a raise to $15. I look down at Queen 6 of clubs from the small blind, and I put in the call. Aiden puts in the call as well, which means we're probably going to flop something good. I don't make a pair, but I have the Queen high flush draw on an ace 8 4 board with 2 clubs. There's $46 in the middle, and the action checks over to Owen, who fires out for $45. I put in the call, and you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And one might say that Aiden is a little bit insane because he raises me up to $175. See, Owen's a little bit more on the bright side. He snap folds his cards. He knows that I'm about to do something here. So yeah, with the queen high flush draw, but more importantly, playing against Aiden, who I literally can't lose a pot against, I put in the call, and the turn now gives me even more outs with the 5 of diamonds. I have the gut shot to the 7 being an 8 high straight. We check it over to Aiden, and he smells weakness and jams all in for $390, and it's kind of a fun spot here where I'm definitely not folding, but at the same time, I just have queen high, so of course, after counting out the chips, I put in the call. There's $1,200 in the middle, and we're gonna run it 2 times, giving Aiden a little bit more of a chance to maybe win one of the boards. Well, when the first board comes a Jack of clubs, I turn over my flush right away, and the second board comes the Queen of diamonds, giving me a pair. We're probably chopping here. I think I'm just winning the top board, but not when he turns over. 7-4 of clubs, dude. We couldn't hang on either of the rivers. The Queen of diamonds was pretty dirty, and by losing this $1,200 pot, that's gonna earn him a record-setting 4th bang sticker. Never have I given out this many to one person in this short of a time. The rest of the table loves it. They know this is gonna go into the vlog and be on the internet for everyone to see for eternity. And if you're starting to feel bad for Aiden, don't worry. I made sure to send him a Good for Poker care package from my last merch drop in order to make up for all of these bad beats. But we're gonna end the session here at Delta Upsilon with a $700 flip versus Alder Dank. He wants to flip me for $700, and we just can't seem to run bad in this fraternity. Sigma Nu was an absolute sun run. We turned that $200 buy-in into a massive $2,500 cash out, completely erasing the Delta Epsilon deficit and putting us up over $2,000 on the trip. After a quick mental reset and hitting a Mizzou football game, it was right back to the grind. To keep climbing this ladder, we have to scale the buy-in again. Next stop, Blake's game. The blinds are tickling up to $1, $3, and the buy-in is more than doubling again to $500. We're putting a massive chunk of our fresh profit right back on the line for level 3, and we gotta stay hot as this is our last stop before we hit the final boss, the $2,000 buy-in. We're down a couple $100 already, but we're looking to bounce back immediately with the second best hand in poker, the Cowboys. I open it up to $45 over a $10 button straddle and a call. Two players put in the call, and then Sykes goes all in for $154. I'm going absolutely nowhere. I shove my $301 stack into the middle. Both other players fold, and we're going off to a run out. Sykes turns over pocket queen, so a brutal spot for him. The flop comes 8-7 deuce with 2 hearts, and the table calls for a heart. They get it on the turn with the 6, and the river comes the 8 of spades. So luckily for us, we faded the queen or the heart on the river. He's all jokes, and we're starting off the session hot here with a $401 pot. The action in this next hand picks up on the river where I get jammed on for $405. I'm holding the 10 high straight. I ended up flopping it, but the river paired the board, and I'm just not feeling good about it.
It's a weird spot, actually. I feel like I'm slow rolling even just thinking about it, but how much would I have to pay you right now to see one of your cards?
I end up putting in the call, and sure enough, my opponent turns over ace-6 of diamonds. He gets there on the river with a full house. I really wanted to make that fold, but just thought it was a little bit too nitty. Imagine I fold there and he shows me like ace-8 or something like that. I would be absolutely embarrassed to post this video, so had to call it off there. I had a read that I was beat, just couldn't find the fold button. I had on $900 and then lose a $400 flip with Douglas, so we have $1,000 in our stack, and I have 9-7 again, this time of the diamond variety. Trey opens it up to $15, and I 3-bet him to $45. Drew 4-bets to $85, and the action's back over to me. What are we going to do here versus the 4-bet? I decided to jam for $209. It's not that much more, and let's just see 5 cards. Drew puts in the call. We're going off to a run out, and he turns over ace-king, so kind of a fair fight here at 60-40, and I turn over the 9 of diamonds. The flop gives him top, although I do have some backdoor straight and diamond ideas. The turn kills all of those thoughts with a deuce of spades, and the river gives me a pair that I didn't need. So that's what you call a $440 punt.
Hey, brother, congrats, man. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Wolfgang the Santa Claus.
So with $600 in our stack, it's time to finally play a pot with Trey. Him and his wife have been hosting me this entire weekend, so let's 3-bet him to $90 and repay the favor. He jams all in for $249, and I obviously call it off. We're gonna run it 2 times versus his 10-9 of hearts. The first board gives me top pair, and we're gonna scoop that one with 2 pair on the river. The second board comes queen, 3. He has a 10 out, a 9 out, or maybe backdoor hearts, but the turn comes the 8 of diamonds, and river comes a jack of diamonds. He's not going to win either of those.
No! I was gonna slower you, and he has some slower on the job.
Oh wait, he realizes he makes the straight with a jack of diamonds on the river, and it seems like a slow roll, but he promises that it wasn't. Blake's game absolutely brutalized us. We took a $1,036 hit, wiping out nearly half of our Sigma Nu profit in a single session. But instead of locking up the remaining win and playing it safe, we're heading straight for the final boss. We're leaving the campus behind and driving to Jefferson City for a private 2-5-10 game. The buy-in skyrockets to a massive $2,000. The entire dynamic is shifting to no more college kids or frat houses. We're sitting down with local businessmen and much tougher opponents. This is the biggest game of the trip, the ultimate test of the ladder, and we need to win big to complete this challenge. Our $2,000 is officially on the table, and what better hand to look down at right away than pocket sixes? Well, I'm sure you guys can think of a few better hands than pocket sixes, but when you're playing this deep, this is the perfect opportunity to set mine and score a massive multi-way pot. There's an open to $35 and a call in front of me. I put in the call as well, and then John raises to $150. One other player calls, Uncle Randy calls, and I call as well. We're getting great odds to flop a set, but flop a set we do not. Instead, it's an overpair on a 5-4-3 board, also giving me an open-ended straight draw. The action surprisingly checks around, bringing in the 6 of clubs. Bang! We turn a set, but there's 4 to a straight, so any deuce or any 7 will have our set of 6s absolutely crushed. Randy fires out for $250, and I think my only play here is just to call. I don't want to bloat the pot with a very vulnerable hand. I would much rather call here, have the river, pair the board, giving me a full house, and then go for a bigger bet. And that's exactly what happens. Both other players fold. The river brings in the 4 of diamonds, and he bets out for $500 once again. There's $1,600 in the middle, and I check my cards to make sure before I put more chips in the middle that I do in fact have 6s full. I'm only losing to pocket 4s at this point, so I'm very confident I have the best hand, and I decide to jam all in for $1,690, putting him to the ultimate test. Randy's a good player, and he ultimately finds the fold, but we're taking down a $3,300 pot straight out of the gate, and that's just what we needed after the disaster at Blake's game. And then in this next hand from the +1, we pick up Ace King offsuit and make it $30 to go. One other player puts in the call before Brandon, the host of this game, 3 bets to $150. I check my cards once again. When it folds around to me, we're going to put in a 4 bet, and I decide to go for $450. Action's back over to Brandon. He puts in the call. Out of position, we go to a flop, which comes Ace King 7, giving me top 2 pair, almost $1,000 in the middle, and I fire out small here for 20% of the pot. Brandon calls, the turn comes a 4 of diamonds, and now I size up a little bit more here for a super Cinco de Mayo, $555. Brandon wants to have a fiesta on the button. He puts in the call once again, and the river comes the deuce of clubs with $2,500 in the middle. My only decision is how big I want to bet. I think I want to go for a smallish sizing here, trying to target a hand like Ace Jack, Ace 10. I don't want to go massive here and allow him to make a big fold, so I go for that plan, hoping for a call. He thinks about it for a while. It looks like a milky value bet, and it is. He puts in the call, and we are scooping down a $4,000 pot, the biggest pot of the trip so far, and that's just what I needed to bring us into the last hand of the night from the hijack. With $5,000 in my stack, I have Queen 9 of spades and make it $30 to go. There's a theme in this vlog, and that's me picking on one specific player at every session that I've been to. There's 2 calls over to, you guessed it, Brandon, who 3 bets us to $180. Action's back over to me. I'm not going to 4 bet this time. Instead, I just call with my beautiful Queen 9 suited, and we pick up one other caller. 3 ways to a queen high flop. It comes Queen 8-6 rainbow. Unfortunately, there's no spade to go along with it, but I also have a funky backdoor straight idea. After 3 betting pre-flop, Brandon decides to check it over to me, and I fire out for $225, trying to bet for some protection and also get a little bit more value. The turn comes the king of spades, and Brandon checks it over to me once again. So with $1,000 in the middle and now an overcard to my top pair, I decide to check it behind, giving me 2 pair on the 9 of clubs river. Let's go, and Brandon smells my weakness on the turn with the check back and fires out for 80% of the pot. Of course, I snap call him here. There's hands that have me beat, like King Queen, King 9, a set of 8s, a set of queens. Heck, even 5-7, 7-10, and Jack 10 have a straight, so I'm happy to just get to a showdown here, and even happier when he folds his cards, giving us the $2,600 pot. What an absolute battle to close out the trip. We sat down with $2,000 against the toughest field of the weekend and ran it up to $7,070, locking in a massive profit of $5,070 in Jefferson City. Huge shout out to Brandon for inviting us into his private game and allowing us to film, and shout out to Trey for hosting us this weekend and bringing us to this game. Looking back at the ladder, this trip was wild. We started out in a frat house with a $100 buy-in, survived a couple of brutal losses, booked an insane $2,300 win at Sigma Nu and ultimately conquered the high stakes of the weekend. Even though we didn't book a win at every single stop, climbing the ranks from $100 all the way to a $2,000 buy-in cleared us a grand total of $6,155 in profit. If you're a college student and want me, Wolfgang, to come out to your college and play in your game, head over to wolfgangambassador.com and sign up now. The top 3 schools with the most Club WPT Gold signups get massive prizes and a personal visit from me to your poker game. You can find more details on how to become an ambassador on the website, which is in the description below. Mizzou absolutely showed out. If you want to see us run this ladder challenge back in another college town, smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss the next vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!